shall know him, I shall know him, and redeemed by his side I shall stand. I shall know him, I shall know him, by the print of the nails in his hand. I shall know him, I shall know him, and redeemed by his side I shall stand. I shall know him by the print of the nails in his hand.
Hello, we're starting this series. It probably will be 4 or 5 videos, and the purpose of them will be to share with you people in each century who believed in the rapture, who believed in the idea that Christ would come in the air and we would meet him in the air. Believers would be resurrected from the dead, and those who are alive to meet Christ in the air. A tribulation here on earth, but that the Christians would not be in it. They would have already been raptured, and that there will be a millennial kingdom, and Christ will come to establish this millennial kingdom, 1,000-year kingdom on earth, and the Christians will come with him. The believers will come with him. So that's just an overview, and we need to ask ourselves, what's the real value of this series? And at the heart of the whole series, every century had people who believed in the catching up, snatching out, rapturing of believers, both those who were dead and those who remained alive at the time. They would be raptured to meet Christ in the air. Now, A-millenialists and others, but usually A-millenialists, like to claim that all this started with Darby. And I'm not going to get into John Darby right now, but we're going to get into him later. But they would like to tell you that it all started around the 18th century, and that the idea of dispensationalism and a rapture and tribulation and millennial kingdom, in literal terms, that all just started then. Well, we're going to try to disprove that in a kind, loving way, because we don't want our brothers to think we're upset with them. We're not upset with them. I don't usually get upset with myself too much when I find out that I was wrong, and so I won't expect to be any different with these fellows. We're not always right, any of us, and so we have to have an open heart as well as an open mind. There's another question I think is a good one, is why did these people who accuse others of believing this, why did they even care? What is so important about this separatist belief that irritates them? And I think it's fair to say that there's sort of two groups that oppose it. One is the traditional church, the Protestant, and this would include the Catholic Church if they have that much interest. And especially on the academic side, the formal side, and the dogmatic side, these people are defending their belief that there is no millennial kingdom, there is no rapture, these things don't exist, but instead, all of those scriptures had a spiritual, emotional, inner meaning, but they mean nothing as to reality and the earth, nothing about that. Now, these same people believe in heaven, so hopefully, and probably believe in hell, they should, but they probably don't handle it quite the same way as they do handle us. So they get a little upset with us, and that's okay. But there's another group that gets upset with us. Now, they're getting really testy lately. They're sort of the egalitarian social group. They're the everything from, liberal to socialist. There are certainly people who see the ecumenical church, but they see the whole world needing to trend toward a postmodern way of looking at life, where you sort of let everyone believe what they want and believe nothing if they like. And so it's a very complicated time in history. There's a very political issue related to this, because a lot of political liberals realize that political conservatism is sometimes tied to this literal approach of the Bible. Another false but popular and disparaging association and accusation that comes from the Roman Catholic Church, that the Bible believing Christians believed in a rapture and believed in other things that made them Gnostic like. Now, if you don't know about Gnosticism, that's another subject, but the Gnostics basically they viewed matter as evil and spirit as good. That's simplification, but anyway. And so they believed that spirit that entered into this higher Gnostic, this higher knowledge that they offered, that soul would reunite itself with God through ascending up to God. Well, what the Roman Catholics thought of that. It sounded an awful lot like the rapture that had been taught by the Christians in the first century, second and third century, who took a stand saying that Christ could come at any moment. And the Catholic Church decided officially by the 5th century, but before that they didn't believe that. They believed that none of this would be literal. This would all be spiritual. It would be in your heart. It would be between you and God. They would tie some of these verses to heaven, give them credit for that, but they had no timeline or sense of order about it. Now, the Gnostics, with their what they called pneumatic ascent, was a teaching that was rejected by everyone, all branches, Catholic, all the break-off groups, all the different kinds of Catholics, they all rejected it. And of course, so did these so-called separatist Christians. Everyone rejected it. So the fact that the Catholic Church wanted to accuse these separatists of being Gnostic or Gnostic-like really was a stretch. I mean, that was a pagan concept. It was based on, the influences of Plato and then later Zoroastrianism and Neoplatonism. So never was it anything that these Christians would have had anything to do with, or did have anything to do with, for those of us who know history. But I think it's important that we understand that from the 3rd to 5th century, increasingly, all the different kinds of Catholic, the Roman, the Greek, the Syrian, all these different Catholic movements were definitely coming down heavily on these, what they now called heretics, these separatists. And one of their accusations was that they were Gnostic-like, or they were dualist, with a dualistic philosophy where matter was evil and spirit was good, which was never true. But anyway, they believed it. So by the end of the 5th century, you need to know this, only separatist congregations and strongly independent preachers, or men who were willing to go against the flow, were maintaining this idea of an upgathering of the saints. All the rest had pretty much given it up. You're welcome to subscribe, and certainly you're welcome to give it a thumbs up, because, as everyone says, this helps us too. Thank you very much.
I shall know him by the prayer